Should you buy this facilities management company? On paper, it looks pretty good. $33 million revenue business on an $8 million earnings, 40 years in business. But is it really that good? So what I've done here, which I will talk about in this video, is a preliminary analysis of this facilities management business based on the high-level information provided on their business listing and based on my knowledge about the economy, the market, some other sectors that interact with the facilities management sector. If you're out there looking for a facilities management business to buy, or if you're looking to get into the facilities management business, you will find in this video an opportunity that you might want to look further or not based on the preliminary analysis that I've done for you. And hopefully by the end of the video, you have the basis to decide whether to go down that full-scale due diligence on this opportunity. So first thing first, you're looking at this company, you're looking at this business based on what is on the display here on this listing. Everything sounds perfect, right? It's a decent size business, 33 million revenue a year, 8 million EBITDA, so earnings before interest, depreciation, amortization, and tax. Brilliant margin, 8 over 33 million, this is about 24% margin. 40 years in business. It's got its own proprietary workforce management software. Sounds wonderful. So my first question is, why the owner wants to sell, right? Because if it's so good, why are you selling? Obviously, there are innocent reasons. Maybe they're retiring and they need to sell. Okay, that's fair. Or maybe there's a divorce, or they're going through a divorce and they had to sell as part of the asset split or settlement, which is fair, right? And by the way, if they tell you that's what is happening, divorce, you can easily verify that, because it's not easy to hide a court proceeding, right? But what if there are other reasons behind why they sell, which they might not tell you? Why would, if you're selling something to someone, you would never tell them what's bad about what you're selling, right? Oh, by the way, in this video, I will focus solely on the commercial cleaning side of this business, because if you look at the revenue breakdown, 85% comes from commercial cleaning. Only 15% is from security business. And I assume if you're buying this business, you're likely interested in the commercial cleaning. Otherwise, why would you, if you're just interested in the security business, then just go and buy one that is just pure security, or at least have the majority of their business in security. And because this company, 85% majority of their revenue comes from commercial cleaning, so I'll be talking about the commercial cleaning business and industry. Okay, so the next thing that my mind was pulled towards was to check out what's going on in the commercial cleaning space from the technology angle, right? Because now AI is a thing, right? It's no longer something like a few years ago. AI was something that was the future, right? Far future. But today, no, it's here and it's defining businesses and sectors. I did a bit of research on the states of commercial cleaning or cleaning technology in general. And I found this video. Just take a look, all right? Here you go.
It can really get us down watching as AIs learn to write music, poetry, and technology news, but watching this clever autonomous toilet bot mop up the bogs somehow makes it all worthwhile. It's good to know robots are coming for the crappy jobs too. There are plenty of people out there cleaning toilets for a living, but I think it's fair to say very few people really aspire to this kind of work. It's the kind of job that's begging to be automated, and New York company Somatic is all over it, offering a $1,000 per month service, with no upfront fees, in which an autonomous trolley bot will come and live in a closet at your office building, and clean your bathrooms for 40 hours a week. That's roughly $5.68 an hour, sneaking comfortably in under the horrifying $7.25 federal minimum wage in the USA. And check out the job this little fella does, opening and closing doors for itself, riding the elevator between floors, hitting the cans, walls and floors with high-powered disinfectant and water sprays, lifting the lids to clean underneath, then vacuuming everything dry and stowing the vacuum on its back before going on its way. While it operates autonomously on a day-to-day basis, the setup process requires some hands-on. Somatic explains that the company sends out a shoebox-sized sensor kit before the robot arrives on site, and has somebody walk the floor plan of the building, going in and out of all the elevators and bathrooms to map the building with video and 3D depth data. Then, an operator at Somatic plays the worst video game in the world in a VR headset, virtually cleaning the toilets while seeing more or less what the robots will see. A lot of this stuff can be cut and pasted, since office bathrooms tend to be pretty uniform. And then, once the robot is given somewhere to live and recharge, with access to water and electricity, it's ready to take over and get to work. It's not designed to totally replace your janitorial staff, just handle routine sanitation. If it finds something unexpected, it'll email photos to your janitor and skip on to the next area. Those are gonna be some spicy notifications. Best leave your phone silent during lunch. The service is up and running commercially, and appears to be available now.
Okay, now that you've seen the video, do you agree that the threat of AI and robotics is real, especially to the commercial cleaning business? If you disagree, please write your thought in the comments, but I'll be surprised to see contrasting opinion. All right, let's move on. Okay, so if I were the business owner, in this case, right, of this facility management company, this could be what's going through my mind, all right? Okay, so AI and robotic is going to disrupt my business. I have two options here, right? One is to keep on going, but if I keep on going and in order to survive, I need to invest in all these technologies and robots, right? But it's gonna cost a lot of money, a lot of investment to transform my business. Do I want to risk my money? I don't know the owner, but if he or she's been running the business for 40 years, and assuming they started the business at 20, right? 20 plus 40, that's 60 years old. I'm 60 years old, and do I really want to risk my money into this thing? Do I even want to do this, right? Or option two, maybe sell the business and leave the headaches to the next person. Now, I don't know whether that was exactly what was going through their mind, but we know that they've decided to sell. But what I've just shown you was both the risk of technological disruption that can kill this business. If they don't do something now, I'm not sure whether they'll be here tomorrow, all right? But at the same time, it is an opportunity for those who not only can figure out how to take the business through this transition, but also have the capital to transform the business. So that's both risk and opportunity. So that's the first one. The next thing I put my mind to was the EBITDA. Now, I have a lot of questions around what constitutes these EBITDA figures, because sometimes if they preparing for sale, they could have worked these numbers to perfection, right? You just have to dig deeper and see what has been adjusted, what has been added, what has been subtracted from the reported profit figures. But lack of that detail, there are still a few things that I can comment about based on the trends and based on my knowledge of those other sectors that related to commercial cleaning. So you can see the EBITDA margin, FY23, it was improved, but then FY24, it dropped by 2.2%. What can be the reason? Without detailed financials, what can we infer? What educated guesses can we make about the reason why the margin was squeezed in FY24? Now, if you look at the nature of the business, it's commercial cleaning. As I said earlier, I focus on commercial cleaning because that's the majority of the business. So commercial cleaning, just common sense, commercial cleaning, they must have a large workforce of cleaners who go to clients' premises and perform their services, which brought me to the workforce issues. Now, talking about workforce issues in the sectors that I have been covering over the last 9 years, the aged care and NDIS, right? Workers shortages have been a pain. Let me just show you a few statistics here. Okay, here are the care sector workforce data for the 2 years, 2020 and 2023. Aged care, as you can see here, in 2020, let's zoom this out. Okay, 2020, there were 434,107 people working in aged care. By 2023, there were 540,900 people working in aged care. That was an increase of around 106,000 or a 24.6% increase in the 3-year period. For NDIS, as you can see here, again, let's zoom this out. In 2020, there was 270,000. By 2023, it was 325,000. So that was an increase of 55,000 or 20.4% increase in that 3-year period. You see, these sectors have been going through rapid growth in the last few years. They needed workers, a lot of them. Workforce isn't born overnight, right? So they have to draw them from somewhere else. I would not be surprised that a good number of people who used to be in commercial cleaning have moved to aged care and NDIS because, leaving aside the desirability working in those sectors, what is true is that these sectors pay better. They offer more stable jobs and better benefit. So if you get paid more, if you get better benefits, if you get, say, a more stable job, then it's pretty tempting to switch. I wouldn't be surprised that a good number of those people who you saw transition into aged care and NDIS came from the commercial cleaning sector, right? My point is that the commercial cleaning sector is experiencing pain of people leaving the business for better pay, better benefits elsewhere, right? And whenever competition kicks in, it pushes prices up, right? And in this case, the cost of workers, so the staffing costs, wages will go up. Whether that was the reason why their margin was squeezed in FY24, I'm not sure. We have to look further into the detailed financials. But for now, that's something we can comment. And let's say you decide to do a deep dive due diligence into this opportunity. What you can do to verify whether these staffing challenges were an issue, look into their payroll, right? You can request the payroll reports and then look into the pay rate and see whether pay rates have increased, right? And if there is a significant increase in the pay rates, then it could be a sign that the company was under pressure of having to increase pay rates to attract workers as a result of having to compete for workers with the other sectors. The other place where you can look into to see whether this workforce was a real issue is to look into their recruitment and training expense accounts, right? Because think about it, if you are experience high staff turnover, all this recruiting, training, retraining could add up, right? So if this was an issue, staff turnover was an issue, the expenses in those accounts could show a spike. So by evaluating those accounts, it should give you some insight as to what's going on the workforce front. So that's EBITDA. Now let's look at sales. All right. Sales is the most important. The trend in their sales figures worry me based on what was provided on the listing. So you see the last 3 years, sales have been on the decline, right? So you need to dig deeper into the why. Why has sales been declining? Because there can be many reasons. Maybe they lost a few key contracts. Maybe their pricing is no longer competitive and therefore, clients start switch to different providers. And switching is not that hard, right? When the market is so saturated, there's always another provider out there who can take you on. So was the sales decline a result of losing major contracts? Because if they did, that is a worry. What other reasons that cause the decline in sales? Another reason, maybe they are being forced to offer discounts. So I did a bit of Google search just to see what's happening if I enter the keyword commercial cleaning. This company came up and looked at their selling points. We will beat any quote by 5%. By the way, does that remind you of the Bunnings slogan?
If you happen to find a lower price on a stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
Nobody can beat Bunnings at our prices. Bunnings Warehouse. Lowest prices are just the beginning.
That pricing strategy has worked pretty well for Bunnings. Now, I don't know whether it is working as well for this company, but it shows that competition is fierce, and it looks like competition is now based on pricing. It's a dangerous place to be in for any business when the only thing you have to compete on is price. What other reason why the sales decline? So the other reason I could think of is what may be happening or might have been happening to the business environments of the clients, right? You know that the retail and hospitality sectors have been hit hard by the shift towards e-commerce and digital services, right? These days you can order even just a cup of coffee or a bottle of beer right from the comfort of your own home. And you've seen news headlines, the number of shops and stores and brands that have been having to close down or reduce operations. You can infer that general demand for cleaning services has been lowered because of that. Okay. Now, if the majority of these facilities management companies, clients are in the retail and hospitality sector, and if some of the clients have closed up shops or reduced operations, then it's understandable why their sales dropped. All right. What you can do if you want to look into this further, you can just look at their clients' portfolio, the sector breakdown, to see which sectors their clients mostly come from, and then make an assessment as to what's happening in those other sectors. Are they declining? Are they growing? Because it can give you some insights into what's happening with their existing portfolio of clients. And if you decided to go ahead and buy this business, what you need to do to reduce the risk. If a lot of the clients are from declining sectors or the sectors that are going through challenging times, then you have to do something with this business now before you suffer the consequence if the clients go out of business or have to reduce operation. All right, so those are the potential reasons why the sales decline. Why? Obviously, you need to look much further into what's really going on in order to tell. But yeah, those are just some high-level analysis, inferences based on what's happening elsewhere in the economy. So that's sales. One other thing that I can comment about this business is this. The business environment today is very different from what it was 20 years, 40 years ago. To get clients back then may have been as simple as word of mouth, or more recently, if you're smart about advertising, AdWords, or SEO optimization, if you're really good in those things, or you can hire someone good in those things and do it for you, provided your service is decent, you can create a decent business out of it, right? But today, it's very different. Today, we're seeing competitors being born out of TikTok or Instagram or Facebook accounts. So it's pretty scary for those who are not familiar to today's digital landscape. This is not to say that, it's all doom and gloom for the business. In fact, it can be an opportunity for those of you, those buyers who know how to navigate this digital economy, how to play this game, how to do business in the current digital world. It could be an opportunity worth exploring further. So, in conclusion, while on the surface, this facilities management business sounds great with $30 million in sales, $8 million in earnings, 40 years in business. There are deeper issues that need careful consideration. As I mentioned earlier, the purpose of this video is to give you this preliminary analysis of this business so that you have just enough basis to decide whether to launch a full-scale due diligence on this business. This opportunity is not for everyone because it requires someone who not only has the vision, the strategy, but also the capital to turn those challenges that this company is experiencing into opportunities. If that sounds like you, then go ahead and explore this opportunity further. If you need help with deep dive analysis and due diligence, please reach out to me, Celine, at Zenify Investments with S.au. So Celine at zenifyinvestments.au. I'll let you know what we need to do, what you need to do in order to get to the bottom of this opportunity so that you can make an informed decision, right? At the end of the day, there's a lot of money at risk, and you want to be as comprehensive as possible in order to protect your capital, your assets. So, all right, thank you for watching and hope to hear from you. Bye.